we have made it to draft day. Now we will do a final mock draft and go over what I think will be the picks that will happen tonight. Now, granted, this is not going to be what happens tonight because, well, a couple years ago, not a couple at this point, a few, but we saw Baker Mayfield go from like the 5th to 6th overall pick to the 1st within the last hour of draft time. So who knows what's going to happen. Either way, before we get into this video, let me remind you, check out w.gg and use code Shredder for not 10. It says 10, but not 10. Use it for 20% off your order of all of their products on their website, all their energy drinks. So here is our draft board. Getting right into this. Number 1 is Caleb Williams. We're not wasting any time. Number 2, Washington. It's between Drake May or Jaden Daniels. I think Drake May is the better prospect for sure. I don't think there's a debate in my mind. I think it's 1A Caleb Williams, 1B Drake May, and 2, or well, really it'd be 3 Jaden Daniels. I think there's an argument for Drake May being, closer to Caleb Williams than Jaden Daniels is to Drake May. However, I don't know that Washington wants to go Drake May. I think it would be smart of them too, but hey, it's the Commanders. How often do we see them do what's not smart? I think that's pretty often. We're going to go Jaden Daniels, leaving 3 for New England to be Drake May. I think that is an easy pick for them, and I think it sets up nicely for New England as well. Arizona. The question is, will they stick and pick or will they trade back? And if they trade back, who for? The Giants have been in talks of trading up to get potentially J.J. McCarthy. Obviously, the Vikings have. And I think that's where this trade is going to go. I think the Vikings are in far too much need to not trade up. They have the team put together. They have everything they could potentially want. They just need the quarterback. So we're going to balance this out somehow, right? 2 4s, a 5. There we go. That works. I don't care what it is. The 2 first-round picks is all that matters in this trade. That they get the 2, 11, and 23. They're going to get, I almost clicked Marvin Harrison Jr. Wow, no. They're going to go ahead and get J.J. McCarthy and move on. The Chargers, sitting at 5, will they trade out? They might, except for the fact that Marvin is on the board. They're getting him quickly. The first 5, in my opinion, are very fast. I think if there were not ad breaks, we would find out the first 5 picks in 45 seconds because New York Giants are the first team with a real question. They could still go quarterback, Bo Nix or Michael Penix. Personally, I think Nix is better than Penix. I don't think Penix has the touch as an NFL quarterback needs to. He also the situation is just different with him. The Giants have Daniel Jones, though. Do they really need to go quarterback? Am I saying that Daniel Jones is very good? Absolutely not. He isn't. He just simply is not that good. But at this point, you're paying him too much to go and get a rookie quarterback. I think the best option is go and get Malik Neighbors. Makes too much sense. At 7, Joe Alt is the pick I've had here for a long time. I think if the board plays out this way, that is where Joe Alt goes. End of story. I don't think there's a question. Atlanta's another team here with a good question in their future because are they going to trade back? They very well could. Easily could. They also could stick and pick. They could get another piece of receiver. They could get an edge rusher. They could get a corner. I think there is a lot of places they could go here. However, I think we're going to see another trade. This is something I've been liking because of what happened last year. Last year, the Cardinals picked at 3, moved back to about 11, and then moved up to 6 to grab Paris Johnson. I think that's the same thing they're pretty much going to do this year, and they're going to move up. With all the extra capital they have plenty. They can move up with just about a first and maybe a third to grab one of the top 3 receivers. You still, you miss Marvin Harrison at 4, but you still get a top 3 receiver. I think that's a great move for them. Now, I think the Chicago Bears are in the same spot. They could also trade down. However, I think in this one, I'm going to keep them sticking and picking, taking Dallas Turner. I just think it's too much of a need. They need to get that second edge rusher. They need to get a quality player. And being the best defensive player on the board, I think it's a no-brainer pretty quickly. The Jets go Brock Bowers. Once again, that pick is just kind of locked in at this point to me. They could go tackle. They could. But I think the best pick for them would be getting a weapon for Rodgers to use and a dynamic one at that. Atlanta now on the board with what's his name being gone? Dallas Turner. They could go Jared Verse easily. However, corner is an option as well. They have A.J. Terrell. Clark Phillips played well last year. Jesse Bates played well. I think Jared Verse is the need. I think he goes earlier than many people think. I think he is the second best edge in this class. And it's not by much. Laiatu Latu is just right behind him. But ATL needs a edge rusher badly. Their best edge rushers are, well, really a bunch of nobodies. So get somebody who actually is going to do something for you. The Broncos here at 12. I think we're in a spot where Bo Nix has to go to the Broncos. They have to get a quarterback. They just simply have to. They've made too many decisions and did not get a quarterback out of them for them to just not take a quarterback here in round 1. Bo Nix is on the board. I think he's very good in that Sean Payton scheme. He can be, I think, in the future. Is he going to be a great quarterback? Maybe not. But can he be one later on, maybe in a Drew Brees type of style? I think that is realistic. He plays a lot like Drew Brees did. He takes the easy stuff. And guess what? In the NFL, capitalizing on the easy stuff is how you make your money. At Vegas's first pick, I think this is a trade down spot for sure. Could they stay and pick? Absolutely. They could use a tackle. Talise Fuaga is a very common pick here. Troy Fatanu as well. They could go potentially corner. However, I don't know. I think they are going to. I actually do think they're going to stick and pick. I was going to trade back, but I don't think so anymore. I think New Orleans will, though. New Orleans has a lot of needs, and they don't have the time to sit here. Who's going to come up is the question, and that is none other than the team that everyone hates to see trade, Philadelphia. Philadelphia always got something up their sleeve, making them, just that much more annoying every single year, it seems. All right, we're going to have to go with 2, and then we'll go with 5, a 5. All right, there we go. Finally. Doesn't matter what the package is once again. They use their extra second to move up to 14, so they can take a really good corner in Quinion Mitchell. Quinion Mitchell, first time I've had him coming off the board prior to Indy in a long time, but I think Philly's looking for a really good corner prospect, and there's none other than Quinion Mitchell. At 15, Indianapolis, they really need to just go cornerback. I think they're upset that Mitchell just went. Terrion Arnold's not a bad replacement, though. Seattle, Laiatu Latu is an easy pick for them, in my opinion. He's, relatively local. He was at Washington in a former team in their college program. He did medically retire, but I don't think that's a problem anymore. I think we would have seen that by now. And I think they need a legitimate edge rusher. Boye Mafe is a great young prospect still in the NFL. He's still a prospect as he's in the NFL, but he's just not a solid edge rusher. Laiatu Latu could walk into that building and be the best edge rusher they've had already. Jacksonville on the board. They could go multiple ways. And I really think they need to go corner, but is that feasible here? They could very well go tackle, especially with the tackles really sticking around right now. They need help on that O-line as well. With the corners being a little bit more off the board, they could go Nate Wiggins. Actually, I do like the Nate Wiggins fit. They also tend to like their speedy little corners and athletic positions. So I think Nate Wiggins makes a lot of sense. I kind of forgot he was already still on the board. Cincinnati, though. It's either tackle or it's D-line. To me, it's Jerzon Newton if they're going D-line. I like him better. I think he is the best defensive lineman in this class. They need him because of the loss of DJ Reader. But they also do need tackle because their tackles freaking stink, man. Every single year. J.C. Latham would be a good pick for them. It's just which way do they go? I think at this point, they're still working on protecting Burrow. That's the most important. Go get Latham. The L.A. Rams, in a similar fashion, they're going to pick up Olu Fashanu. I think he is a underrated tackle prospect at this point. He was a great prospect last year, and had he not gone back to school, he would have been the first tackle taken off the board last year. So, really good pick. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a few options here. I really like the Cooper DeJean pick. I think that is the best player available in any format. Brian Thomas or A.D. Mitchell would both be solid, as they do need a receiver. You could go tackle. There's a lot of tackle need as well. Fatanu, Mims, there is a lot of tackle need for sure. Are we missing a tackle? I feel like there's somebody that I've not seen. Nope, we're not. Unless they have him as an IOL. Nope, we're good. All right, either way. I don't know what I want to do here. I just don't know. I think we're going to go... My heart says Cooper DeJean all the way, but I feel like tackle is more likely at this point. It's just which tackle we go. I'm going to go Cooper DeJean. I do think they need to take the corner. I think it would be more helpful than getting a tackle. Dan Moore is not as bad as Steelers fans like to think he is. And yeah, I just think it makes too much sense. Miami on the board, they're getting Jer'Zhan Newton. They need that replacement of Christian Wilkins very fast. New Orleans here, they need a tackle, and they're very lucky. This board has played out very well for them to grab a tackle. Troy Fautanu, who's going to be a New Orleans Saint. The Arizona Cardinals took Rome Odunze at 8, and now at 23 and 27 coming up, they're going to get a good chance to make some really good moves here. They're going to take edge rusher number 1. Potentially, they could do that. Or they could stick around and find maybe a tackle, maybe a corner. Best player available. Double dip at receiver. I don't know. We're going to go Byron Murphy. I think he's too good of a player to be sitting here. They need some defensive help. They got a receiver. Now they get a defender. Offensive lineman for Dallas. It's just which one do you want? Amarius Mims could be good. Graham Barton could be good. Barton kind of makes more sense to me because of the versatility, and they kind of need that versatility on their line. But Amarius Mims could make a lot of sense as well. However, they'd have to jump Steele over to the left side. I think Barton makes more sense here. Green Bay, though, quickly going to grab Amarius Mims. I think they're excited about that pick. With their offensive line kind of being in shambles this coming year, that's not a hard pick to make at all. Tampa Bay. I think they had to get rid of Carlton Davis. They're going to get Kool-Aid McKinstry. I think it's just a good fit in terms of draft position and all the board. At 27, though, I think we could see a trade here. I think someone's going to come up and grab the last quarterback on the board. It's just who is it that comes up to grab them. And I think only one team really makes sense here. And that is going to be the Las Vegas Raiders. They need to make headway at getting a legitimate quarterback in the room. They can grab Penix. It's not going to work. This happened last time. When I tried to do a mock draft here last time, for some reason, this little glitch happens where I click what I want and I press trade and it doesn't happen, okay? So what we're going to do is Arizona at 27 is really the Raiders. This is the Raiders, right? That is the Raiders. This is not the Cardinals. They're taking Michael Penix. That's the Raiders taking Michael Penix, okay? If you haven't heard it, now you have. The Bills. To me, they are 100% going receiver. It's just which one. To me, you're looking at two different types of receivers here. Brian Thomas, neither are bad prospects. I think they are in, there's the top 3 guys in their tier, Marvin, Neighbors, and Odunze. And then there's this tier 2, which is Thomas and Mitchell. That's tier 2. I don't think it matters if you think Thomas is better or Mitchell is better. I think they go AD Mitchell, mainly because I don't know that Brian Thomas is a wide receiver 1 in the future material. AD Mitchell is absolutely prototypical wide receiver 1 potential. He has the traits that you want in any kind of receiver. And I think Detroit here, receiver is an underrated need for them. I think they quickly grab Brian Thomas because of the fact that he's on the board. Like, that's just a pick you didn't expect to be there. And guess what? He is. Grab him. At Baltimore's pick, what could they do? They could go tackle. They've lost a tackle this year. I think Tyler Guyton would make a good pick for them. They could go. I really like Darius Robinson to the Ravens. I think he is a very solid player, and he just seems like a Baltimore Raven, man. But actually, with the board playing out as it has, I'm going to go Tyler Guyton here. San Francisco, they could trade out as well. They could really trade out, and I kind of want to consider that. However, with the board shaking out as it has, the Brandon Ayuk stuff has happened, then maybe they need a receiver here. Edge rusher is not necessarily out of play. They could go tackle as well, and I think Jordan Morgan makes quite a bit of sense for them, and I'm going to go that route. I think tackle makes too much sense, and he's a really solid tackle as well. A lot of tackles in this class, definitely. Kansas City on the board. They could use receiver. They could use an edge rusher. They could use a corner, especially a corner now, especially that they had to get rid of Snead. Rakestraw's a little early. I think you consider trading back potentially. I just don't know if there's anybody in this draft really willing to trade up right now. I think we're looking at a receiver here. I think that's what we're looking at. I think they finally do it, especially with the pending allegations towards Rashee Rice. It's Xavier Worthy's been commonly mocked to them because of his speed and the Tyreek Hill comparisons that he draws from there. But I think Ladd McConkey's a better receiver. And with the way he runs routes, I think that would be just absolutely filthy to put with Patrick Mahomes. We're going to go Ladd McConkey, and we're going to see how this goes. We're going to save this until we can look at the final results. Just remember that this is our draft, but the last pick is the Raiders. The Raiders get 2 picks, Tulise Fuaga, and they later grab Michael Penix. This is the Raiders. I know it's hard to see that, but either way, I think that makes too much sense for them. Plus, the Cardinals get to add more picks. I think this is a really solid mock draft. Let me know what you think happens this evening. Let me know what you think is, the most likely pick for your favorite team. Thank you guys for watching.